When meeting with your counselors or therapists, what did they do or provide that was most helpful in your recovery?
Well, first of all, shout out to Dr. Ann Wexler. I loved that episode. I thought that was one of my favorite episodes ever. I learned so much. And I've been in
educational.
Yes, totally. For me, I've been in therapy since I was 5 years old, and coming from child abuse, my mom made sure that I was in therapy, and then fast forward to moving here to Los Angeles. A friend actually suggested it to me that I start therapy again. And so then obviously it was my decision to start. And for me, I think it's been hard. It was hard at first to find the right therapist. And then I found the one that was the right for me was the one that listened, that didn't judge. And I kind of tested her out by bringing my mom in and my family in. And then, a good therapist is good when she doesn't take sides no matter what.
Yeah. For me, my therapist that I no longer see, but I may decide to see again one day.
Didn't you see her during
good reasons.
Dancing?
I spoke to her during dancing, but I think one of the most influential statements that she said to me that has definitely stuck with me. I was always one that was a self-sabotager. I would love, if things were going great in my life, I didn't think that I was worth it and that I was good enough. So why should I accept that things are good in my life? So I'm going to just it all up. So she always used this great analogy of like me in a canoe rowing with the current. And that current is everything good in my life. And then all of a sudden I decided to turn around and try to swim back upstream. And it's pretty much physically impossible. So, but I tried, and that was when I would just destroy everything, relationships, friendships, name it. But a therapist to me, again, one of the things that, Cheryl said, which I think is really key, is that a really good therapist, I think, or counselor is someone who's very impartial, especially when you bring in family or your husband or your spouse, and just to always keep like a neutral playing field. But again, I do think therapy is a very good thing to have. If you can afford it, I say do it, because it can help some people out there. So
I will go with what Cheryl said. I think it's imperative as a counselor or therapist to be a good listener. I've had different therapists over my lifetime, and excuse me, and some of them you could tell weren't listening. Mm-hmm. You could be pouring out your guts, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? Time's up. We got to go."
Yeah.
And I realized, whoa, they really weren't listening. Or I'd ask them a question, and they would give. I realized they weren't listening. Mm-hmm. So I think listening and a good bedside manner, I think, is important. Someone that you feel
but
cares.
Still human, right? Like
cares.
still.
Yes. That's it. Human, not clinical, but human. Like you're making a connection with another human being. I think those are key qualities for a good counselor therapist.
That's why I said earlier, Steve-O, is that you are a huge inspiration, because people look at what you do with Jackass and how insane it is and how crazy it is. And I'm sure those people out there that don't know your story are going, God, you got to be messed up to do that kind of stuff. Like you got to be on something, or you got to be whatever. And yet here you are, stone cold sober, very well spoken, super intelligent guy. And you're doing it for the fun of it, and for the entertainment. And you've got a family with those guys that you've created that, you guys would never, turn your backs on each other, which is amazing. I mean, that's like me and my bandmates, 27 years together. How we've not killed each other, I don't know, but
almost, sure.
Almost a couple times, but so hats off to you, man. I mean, honest to God.
Would you say that you're an adrenaline junkie?
Nah, just an attention whore.
Hey, have you guys resumed filming now, or are you guys back at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of attention whore, how was your experience on Dancing with the Stars?
It was uncomfortable, man.
I know,
You
right?
know,
It's
it
still
was-
uncomfortable for me, and I'm a professional, which is weird.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, God, it was just a crazy situation because when
This is back in season 8, you guys.
yeah, it was. I was very newly sober when I signed up for
my
Dancing
God.
with the Stars. I had less than a year of sobriety.
Oh,
That's
wow.
AJ. That's
Yeah.
what he
That was
takes
the
his
same
life
for
through.
me. And let me tell
And I
you,
almost made you guys.
there was a couple of late night, like after I was done with rehearsal, where I was like, God, I want to drink right now. I'm so stressed because, it was a lot,
Yeah,
I wasn't
dude,
easy on
big
him.
time, big
Holy
time. I mean,
crap.
I remember. And there's a lot to this. It was. It was pretty striking to when I first got sober. The idea that recovery is all about deflating the ego. Sort of like, and the idea of being Steve-O and having this, pursuit of fame. It was so kind of antithetical to the idea of recovery. It was like, wait, can I even continue to have a career in the entertainment industry and be in recovery? Like, these two ideas are so at odds with each other that I really didn't know if it made sense to. And clearly my priority was on recovery. So when the idea came up to be on Dancing with the Stars, I remember thinking, okay, well, the question mark is whether I should be doing anything in entertainment to begin with. And here's this Dancing with the Stars, which kind of gives me the opportunity to just dip my toe in the water. Like, it doesn't require me to do anything like reckless or crazy, like, so there's that. Like, I don't have to do any traveling, like I was living in a halfway house and I was able to just, do my rehearsals like half a mile up the road from my actual halfway house.
Awesome.
It was all in a very safe, environment. I could, I could do that and absolutely make recovery my number one priority. And it sort of put me in the, like, everything made sense to me. Like, I could kind of like just sort of dip my toe in this entertainment stuff, doing something that's healthy, kind of getting exercise and check it all out. So that was why I went for it.